There was somebody in the comments who was basically, I guess, calling themselves trying to call me out or whatever, and was saying all of this stuff is for a flex. You and all these other people wouldn't even be collecting this stuff if it wasn't for social media. I joined social media somewhere around 2008. And that took convincing from a homeboy who kept talking it up. Before then, I thought social media looked lame. I'm like, man, what is this? Some type of desperation hookup type website? What is this? You know, this was during the time of MySpace, early Facebook. This is when you used to see the shows, and, you know, they would ask like a comedian or a movie star what they got going on. They would always get a MySpace page. This is during that time. By this time, I was already a collector, long before social media came along. So up until that point, no one saw my stuff except friends and family that came to the house. That was it. The only thing that I made sure people saw was my Optimus Prime that I purchased in 2003. And the reason being was I was so excited because I had never saw anything like that before. The MP01 Optimus Prime, that I just had to show everybody I knew that this thing existed. So I was taking that thing around with me everywhere. I used and abused that thing to the point where I broke it. I don't even know how I did it, but I messed it up where the lid kept falling off. I had to get me another one because the first one I had, I messed it up. And I think I ended up getting, by this time, I believe it was MP04. So I ended up getting MP04 that was pretty much Prime and the trailer to replace the original one I had, which was just the Optimus Prime with no trailer. But yeah, I was taking that thing everywhere. But before that, or after that, the only way you saw my stuff is if you were somebody who actually knew me and came by the house. I wasn't showing anybody my stuff. I didn't have a need to. I was just buying it for myself. Like I said, the Prime was something different because that was my very first figure ever of me buying to start collecting. And I was just so blown away by it. So me being on social media ain't have nothing to do with collecting. But I wasn't even taking pictures. Like I don't have any pictures of none of my earlier stuff when I was collecting the vinyl tech, the alternators. I don't have any pictures of that stuff. My early Megatron, MP05. I don't have no pictures from my earlier stuff. We had cameras, all our cameras, we took pictures and you took the film and you went and got it developed. We wasn't wasting pictures, or at least I wasn't. I wasn't into that at this time. I wasn't into wasting money or film on taking pictures of my action figures. It was like, for what? What do I need pictures for? I probably got some footage somewhere, but it wasn't intentional footage that I used, or it wasn't intentional footage of any of the stuff I had. It was just probably some around the house stuff. And you just happen to see my stuff in the background. Cause at that time I was living in apartments. So all my stuff was actually in the front room, the living room, on display for everybody to see. I had like a big old cabinet that we got from IKEA, where it was basically bookcases that they made fancy. They gave them glass doors. So we had like a whole 5-row system, and like right in the middle, I had like my stuff. So it's probably some photos and video footage of my earlier stuff somewhere on archives. I didn't start taking pictures before 2014. Around 2014 is when I actually started trying to take photos of my stuff. And the only reason I started doing that is because I discovered my first Transformers forum. It wasn't even a group. It was a forum. And that was TFW 2005. That's when I started posting pictures of my figures. So I was like, man, everybody's showing off what they got. I didn't know all these folks was around. Let me start showing off what I got. Start sharing my collection with people. And that's how I got started taking photos. That's how I got started sharing stuff. All started because I was on the TFW 2005 forum. And that's just what you did on there. But once I got on 2005 though, oh, it was a wrap. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I saw other posting pics and they was posting dope pics too. I was like, man, they snapping. They making this stuff look like it's in the real world. Like it used to be this one dude. He used to be on there taking pictures and you thought the stuff was real. It was like, oh shoot, he would put them in real, scenarios. I was like, damn, he's snapping. It was, another dude named T Cracker. I know a lot of y'all know him. He passed away a few years ago. His pictures was fire. And he used to always just use like all black backgrounds. And I'm like, damn, how is he taking these pictures with all black backgrounds? It was this other dude. He used to take pictures on his rug. What is his name? I think his name is Sixo. He used to just take pictures on his stairs, on the rugs of his stairs had rugs on them. And he used to just take pictures on that. He's advanced further along now than that. But I just remember all these folks who used to be like big with the pictures. So I was like, man, I'm finna start taking me some pictures too. So I started taking photos of my stuff and I was trash. Man, hot garbage. It was people doing photos with infinite white backgrounds. I'm like, how are they doing this? Again, I tried it. Trash. But you know what? All that did was it made me practice and work harder at it. And I just kept going. I was using my phone. I couldn't get the camera to do it because I didn't have the right type of camera. But the cameras in the phones was getting better. So I was using my phone. And I just was like trying my hardest. And my pictures was just all trash. It wasn't until I got, which phone was it? I can't remember the name of the phone. But it was a phone that I picked up and it had like the same settings as a DSLR camera. And when I learned how to tweak those settings, man, it was over. I started doing photos. I started calling them I used to start using like the hashtag close enough. I started that little thing. So that actually started me into the hobby of photography. I'm still an amateur. I mean, I'm cool. I'm not like an expert or nothing, but I'm not trash like I was when I started. But yeah, man, that was the reason that, I even started putting photos online and I was only taking pictures of Transformers because that's all I was primarily collecting. And then I started expanding. The thing that social media actually did, I'm going to tell you what social media did. Social media got me to taking photos. That's one, like we just talked about. It actually caused me to buy more stuff because I realized I needed more characters for different scenarios for my pictures. It caused me to start getting into dioramas because I needed dioramas for the figures, so the figures would pop more. Caused me to get another TV, an even bigger one, because I needed a TV just for my photography because I was using my TV for the backgrounds. So it caused me to spend, it did cause me to spend more money. Up until 2014, like I said, I only collected Transformers. Because of social media, I found other groups and started collecting all types of stuff because of that. That's the whole reason I started collecting 1/6. Because the closest thing I had come to 1/6 was the Marvel Studios blade, which was a 12-inch blade, which was not really all that great. At first I thought it was, and then I discovered 1/6. I was like, man, this thing ain't all that. But that's because of social media. So social media did affect how I collect, but it ain't the reason why I collect. So the original question, which was, would I still collect if there was no social media? The answer is yes, but I probably wouldn't have as much stuff, and I probably wouldn't be collecting 1/6. Maybe. I can almost guarantee you I wouldn't have as much stuff though. As far as what would have been collecting, I can't really say because I knew Transformers from my childhood. So Transformers, when I got back into collecting, that was something that I was doing regardless of social media. So I would have been doing Transformers anyway. Now, how many I would have had, it's a different story because my collection was small. Like I probably had like 20 pieces before social media. So it was small. And I wasn't even thinking about going bigger because it wasn't as much stuff out at the time. Once I got on social media, started discovering all these groups and forums, that's when I found out how much stuff was really out there. Then I started finding out about all these different websites overseas and all this other stuff. So definitely social media had a big impact as far as like how I spend money or how much I spend. You know, the influence, the different groups, the different platforms. This is when Instagram was really heavy on pictures. They weren't so much pushing videos. They was pushing pics. So the pics was heavy on Instagram. You had the pics was heavy on Facebook. All this stuff before TikTok came along. Your pictures actually meant something. They actually went somewhere. Now pictures like don't mean nothing. Everybody want McDonald's shorts. So, but back then, yeah, you had Instagram, more because of the internet, more access to stores. Then YouTube, you got people doing YouTube videos about action figures, all these different channels out there that was doing action figures at the time back in the day. So yeah, all that was a big influence. Take social media away, I would still be collecting. I just don't know how much I would be collecting. But at the end of the day, I would still be a collector because I collect for myself, not for the internet, not for social media. So I personally think it's dumb to spend hard earned money on all this stuff just so you can show people what you have. It feel like something that's in my eye, but that's stupid in my opinion. But y'all can let me know what you think. Would you still be a collector if social media didn't exist? And I want you to like really, really, really think about it and be honest. Cause I know a lot of y'all, well, I ain't gonna say a lot of my people, but I know a lot of people in the collector space only became collectors because of what they saw, especially during the COVID time, had nothing else to do, watching videos on YouTube like, oh, this is interesting. Let me get some action figures and start showing people what I got. We call those the COVID collectors. So yeah, be honest. Would you still be a collector if social media didn't exist? And, that's it for this subject.